Welcome to Unstitching ADHD Urban Ed Talks, coming to you live from the vibrant Westside Farmers Market at St. Monica's parking lot in the heart of the inner city, Rochester, New York. I'm your host, Dr. Stanley Ekiyor, and today we're exploring the intersections of ADHD, education, and urban life in our community. So we'll be talking to ordinary Americans to get their own perspective of what ADHD is. What are the resources in our community in relation to ADHD? Today we have another esteemed guest. I will have her introduce herself and we'll talk about ADHD. So welcome. Can you let our viewers know a little bit about you?
Yes, hello, my name is Sharice Hall. I hail from Buffalo, New York, and I work with the Rochester City School District in the Office of Professional Learning.
So tell us, what does ADHD mean to you?
So with the diagnosis, I will say when I first entered into the district, that term wasn't necessarily being used. We may have said, oh, the child's a little bit high strung, which meant that within our instruction, we were like positioning ways so that they weren't always seated, but they were able to move around the room. And one of the things that has like come to pass and having specific language that comes with research to say what these different markers are with ADHD, we've come to learn a little bit more. So as I've acquired students and they are with me for the year, what I've noticed is my lesson and my instruction is really based on what their personal interests are, and I kind of curtail my time management to best fit their needs of where they might get exhausted and where we might need to switch up. Another key piece that we have kind of put in play with different students is when they need to take a break, just out of the room, just get a different view, toss and throw a ball. We've given them that opportunity to step outside the room and be with another responsible adult who will go and kind of provide that activity at that right time moment.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Now, about resources. Do you think, in your opinion, there are enough resources in the community and people are aware of it?
I don't. I think for where our families are meeting us and where we're meeting our families, a lot of the different strategies that we may have at our fingertips aren't necessarily shared with parents until they're at the table and someone is saying that they want to classify their child. Whereas when we are looking at different pieces that we're observing in the classroom, that parent has seen it too, but they don't necessarily have a strategy outside to say how they can modify the behavior in that right time or provide an outlet for the child in that time to let them see a different way and then right set themselves and come back.
Thank you so much, and that's what we're trying to do. I have another esteemed guest again here at the Westside Farmers Market. So I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself and we'll talk about ADHD. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Kai Strange, and I am the director of the Office of Teacher Workforce Initiatives at Nazareth College, and I am the parent of a child with ADHD.
So tell us about your experience supporting a child with ADHD.
I started off as a classroom teacher in the Rochester City School District and had lots of kids that were labeled ADHD that I just felt, I don't know that I felt the labels fit. I just thought they were kids that were needing more of a focused program and a program that interests them. And then when I became the parent of a child with ADHD, I realized there's not services to help. He read to me aloud, and while he was reading, he'd stop and he'd comment about things like, oh, that's what that word looks like, or he got distracted, and I'm like, oh, honey, when you read, is this what it's like all the time? And he's like, yes. But it's like, I'd been a reading teacher for 10 years by the time he came along. I didn't know that that's what it sounded like in their head, and it was hard for them to focus. And there were no resources for me as a teacher, nor me as a parent, for how to help him. He did well in school. He was able to read and understand what was going on, but his processing and all of the things that he had to navigate through were just interesting to me. It's like, the brain definitely works differently.
Yes.
However, I also saw as he got older, he could work on his history homework, his science homework, his math homework, and what I would say all at the same time, and be able to do well in all three. Because he wasn't focusing on just, I want you to spend time just doing your reading homework. when he had the choice to focus and change, he was able to be successful.
Yeah. So talking about resources, you said there are not enough resources, but right now, do you think that has changed?
It's hard for me to say that just because my son is now 22, so I'm not in the community where I'm looking for resources in that way. However, I do know that he's made some poor choices in his life, and I can't help but wonder is part of the reason that he is where he is today because people don't understand how his brain works and how his mouth works, and that he tends to be a little more impulsive, and he does things without thinking, but if you give him a moment, he can step back and regroup, but if you don't give him that moment, he tends to just, go on. So that one's hard for me to say. I can say at the college level, because I work in a school of ed, we talk more about ADHD and we talk more about it as a condition that kids have that they don't have control. It's not a label for naughty kids or a label for kids that can't sit still. There are criteria and there are ways to work with these kids as professionals that have nothing to do with medication or punitive things. It's just, you've got to learn. We focus on getting to know the kids. Every kid is different. You got to find out what works for your individual kid. So I know there's more of a talk about ADHD, and I don't hear the kids, the students, the college students talking about the students as in the ways my former colleagues used to. They seem to see them as kids with a different way of learning that they need to figure out how to handle.
Yes. Thank you so much, and that's what we're trying to do with this platform. Engage the community, create awareness, and get to figure out the resources around so that people can know what to do and how to support their kids. So I will hand this over to you, and this is a QR code that takes you straight to our YouTube channel where we're bringing different experts to that platform to try to break it down.
Okay.
So if you spread the word, if there's somebody who says they don't know about it, it's a great platform for them to go in and just listen to different experts talk about it. So thank you very much. I appreciate you coming to share with us and our viewers, and I'm sure somebody will benefit from this experience.
Thank you.
I have another esteemed guest,
Joseph and Gloria.
So I will give them an opportunity to talk about ADHD like we've been doing. So welcome, sir, and welcome, ma'am. So have you heard about ADHD in any form, or do you know somebody that has it that you've been close to?
Yeah, I've already heard about it when my kids were little.
Yes.
And they would come back from school and be talking about it. It's some kind of hyperactive or had difficulty in sitting down and paying attention to the teachers in the classroom.
Yes.
And at the same time, at times when we visit the doctor, the pediatrician, he always raises you up ADHD. That's all I know about it, because the kids have with the same problem coming to see the doctor. Each time we visit with my kids.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's a big problem in the society now. Even from Nigeria, in Igbo land, they call it Obanje. The child will be hyperactive, so to say, uncontrollable, not actually progressing in school. Over here, unfortunately, a Nigerian child once said that the problem with Nigerian community is that they are in denial that some of their children have ADHD.
Yes.
And it's a big stigma for them to even own up, be taking their medication, or not necessarily seeing a psychiatrist, but at least getting help. So your coming in is timely.
Thank you.
As to making us understand that if you don't treat it, you expose the child to a lot of delays in life.
Exactly.
And,
So now, with your experience, do you think we have enough resources in the community to support kids who have ADHD?
Yeah, I don't think we have. I'm glad you're not tackling this issue from the angle of an educationist.
Yes.
So that all along this issue has been handled at the medical level, where the doctors overprescribe in my own opinion, medication for these kids. At times, I don't think they necessarily need the excessive medication they give them. Counseling and having someone to talk to them
Yes.
probably will be helpful, and that's why I'm happy at your approach to the problem from educational
Perspective.
perspective.
Thank you so much. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get to the community, engage the community, and try to get people to understand it. And that's why I have the YouTube channel where you can go. We're trying to bring different professionals, different medical from all aspects, psychologists, social workers, all. Let's talk about it. Let's demystify it. So I appreciate both of you coming here to support and to participate. So please spread the word, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
So-
Thank you for the interdisciplinary approach to it.
Thank you.
And demystify it, let there be no much privacy about it.
Yes, thank you very much for being here today. For our viewers, I have an esteemed guest here today, Dr. Eva Thomas, and she's so big in the community, and so it's a great opportunity that we have her here today. So, Dr. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you, Dr.
Can you
Ekiyor.
please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have been an administrator for the Rochester City School District for approximately 12 years, and I was currently promoted to Executive Director of Early Childhood Education, so that is my new position, and excited to be working with the Foundation of Education, our 3- and 4-year-old children.
Awesome. Can you describe for us if you have kids that have ADHD or supported kids with ADHD?
Yes, we have. And what we do is we use a team approach. We use community partners, but first we start with their first teacher, which is their parents, to find out what strategies they use at home. We also talk about what they like, what they don't like, their strengths, their weaknesses. So the first part of the journey is to get to know the family and the parents.
Yes.
And then we get to know the child through the family and the parents. And then we spend time with the child. And then we look at the needs. We look at the strengths. We work from a strengths-based approach with children. We never work from a negative approach, but a strength-based approach. And we work with them in the classroom. We have a social emotional learning model. It's not a program, but a model called the pyramid model. And there are varying levels of that model. The first thing, we always want to look at the environment, the triggers, things that might agitate a child. But start there. We start with the teacher as well, and looking at their strengths and their needs, areas of opportunities. We don't call them weaknesses, but areas of opportunities for them to grow with our students.
So tell us, do you think there are enough resources in the community to support kids with ADHD?
I believe there are a lot of resources in the community. I think the issue becomes where, you know how they say in the Bible, people suffer for lack of knowledge. If individuals don't understand ADHD, then everything they try will not work. So you have to really build relationships with families and children and really know what the research says, but also know about a child's environment at home and in the school.
Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
And
You're
that's what
welcome.
we're trying to do.
Yes.
Engage and enlighten the community, get people to know what it is so they can ask the right questions when they are in front of their primary care physicians. They can ask the right questions when they are with their teachers. Everybody benefits
That's
if
right.
there's awareness. And so I'm going to give you this card which says you're different because you're unique and special. If you scan the QR code, it takes you straight into our YouTube channel where we bring different professionals from all fields to come and talk about ADHD. So thank you very much, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you, Dr. Ekiyor. I look forward to working with you. We have 2 adult family educators who work with our peers, so you already know we're going to put you to work with our parents.
No problem.
We have virtual platforms and we have face-to-face platforms.
Awesome.
So I look forward to partnering with you this year.
Awesome.
Thank you for
very
the
much.
invite.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
I have a special guest here, and I'll have him introduce himself, and we'll discuss about ADHD. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm Jerry Murdy. I've lived in Rochester now for 68 years. I came from Buffalo originally. My wife and I, and now we have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. So, have you heard about ADHD before?
I have, and I'm not going to be able to describe it exactly for you, but I think of my one granddaughter is now 18.
Yes.
She has been dealing with that for a number of years.
So what would you say about the resources in the community? You think the community has enough resources to support people with ADHD?
Well, they're trying. I know you see a lot of opportunities to get involved or get help and so forth.
Okay.
So she knows there's help out there, and however, she doesn't know well, we don't either. What triggers it or anything else. But she's a real worrier, has always been, and she has always been good about helping people. And so forth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Welcome. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
All right. So, hi, my name is Stanley Ekiyor, and I am a teacher for Rochester City School District. I currently teach students with autism and students that are nonverbal.
So tell us, have you ever had opportunity to work with kids with ADHD?
Yes, actually, a couple of my students last year and that I will continue to teach next year do have ADHD.
Yeah. So what are the challenges you encounter working with those kids?
You have to be very creative. It is very hard for them to typically sit for long periods of time, so a lot of breaks and movement, like I said, creativity, engagement. Yes.
So do you think there are enough resources in the community, to support kids specifically with ADHD?
I would say no, especially for children of color with ADHD. Typically, when they're diagnosed, the first thing they say to the parents is that they want to put them on medicine. And I've seen some kids on medicine and they look kind of like zombies, or they just lose that zeal for learning, and they don't look like themselves. So I get scared when I hear that a parent's going to put them on medicine. I had a parent that was saying she was going to try some natural remedies. So that made me feel a little bit better, because I just didn't want to see that student not look as happy and bright as he usually did.
Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing up that, because that's one of the reasons why we're trying to break this down, trying to demystify it. Even though medication is great, the dosage is normally a problem, right?
Yes.
So getting people to understand that there are other ways, but there are kids that might, under extreme situations, need it. The more we know, the better it is for us. So thank you very much, and I'm going to give you a link to our podcast. I want you to share it around. Let our parents know, because in that platform we bring different experts to break it down to a level where we understand the different types of interventions or treatments involved, medical, behavioral, and lifestyle changes, right? So thank you very much, and I truly appreciate what you do, and please keep supporting our kids, and I'm really proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir, and welcome to Unstitching ADHD Urban Ed Talks. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am Augustine Ani, originally from Nigeria, but residing in Rochester, New York. I'm a medical technologist. I worked at a hospital for over 36 years, a clinical biochemist. So that's what I do for a living. I'm now a retired happy man.
Oh, awesome. Can you tell us if you've heard in your own experience about ADHD or in support of somebody who has ADHD?
Yes, I have. I've heard about ADHD. However, I don't know any person who had it, and I have not come in contact with any person who is suffering from the disease. But I think it's an important, disease that we need to discuss.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know about it.
Do you think the community is doing enough, to educate people about what it is and the resources around?
Well, I think the community themselves need to have the information, first of all, to educate other people. No, I don't think they are doing enough. I think this is the first time we have come to this type of gathering, okay, to get information about ADHD, okay. So I don't think communities are doing enough. But I know there are private places you can go if your child is suffering from it. I know that is very, very prevalent in a lot of, primary schools in this country. And it's a big, big problem in our schools. And the people don't understand it. And the children will suffer. They think that these children are dumb. They can't understand anything. There's something with autism. Yeah, I think it's very good. What you guys are doing is really, really good.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. So I have a special guest with me here today. She's a mentor. She's been a great support to this whole project. And she's here to support us. So we're going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself and tell us what she knows about ADHD.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvia Cooksey, and I am from the Rochester City School District. I am a retiree of 34 years. And during my years at the Rochester City School District, I've come in contact with several different types of students. But one of the students that is very interesting is a student with ADHD. And the reason I mention that student first is because a lot of people don't understand a child with ADHD.
Yes. So, how would you describe your interaction with that student?
You have to have a very interesting interaction with a student with ADHD, because a lot of times you will misdiagnose or call that student challenging, and some have even called that student bad or just so full of energy that they can't learn, and that is not the case. You have to take the time to realize that their brain is not working like our brains are. Their brain, I've heard it said this way before, is like a Ferrari in a little putt-putt car. And they don't know how to manage that. So we, as the educator, have to realize that this Ferrari needs to know how to manage itself in that putt-putt body. It takes patience, it takes love, and it takes you wanting to make a change in that child's life.
Wow, I've never heard it being described this way, and that's awesome. So tell me something. Do you think the community has enough resources to support kids with ADHD from your experience?
I will say no. The word is thrown around to our parents so often, and they really don't understand what that label means. They're just looking for a solution for their child who might not be successful in school. But I do believe that parents should be informed, churches should be informed, community, as like at this community event, is a great opportunity for them to learn out what ADHD really means. Because I don't want it just to be an acronym. I want people to understand what that child looks like, what that child feels, how that child thinks, how that child acts.
Yes. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate your presence here, and thank you for doing this.
It is always a joy, Dr. Ekiyor. Anytime you need me, I am there.
Thank you. I have another guest here today, and I will, like we're doing, have him introduce himself, and we'll ask him about ADHD. So, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Can you tell us and the viewers a little bit about yourself?
My name is Chidi Dimba, and the first name is C-H-I-D-I, last name Dimba, D-I-M-G-B-A. So it's easy to pronounce without the G, without the good part, but it's Chidi Dimba. I'm originally from Nigeria. I live here in the U.S. and did IT work for a long time. Now I'm running my own business, Blackstone Bridge Properties. So I've known you for a little while, and I'm really proud. I'm overjoyed and impressed that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Because for the type of role you're doing, I consider it a noble cause.
Thank you.
It's not just about money. I'm in business, and I always say bottom line.
Yes.
But somebody has to do the work that lifts up society.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're doing that.
Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
Have you heard the acronym ADHD?
Yes, from your podcast.
Oh, great.
As a matter of fact, the first time I heard of that was from your podcast.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I'm listening to it, then I'm saying, gee, I can't believe I didn't even know what this meant.
Wow.
Because I always think is you call it hyper sensitive kids. So I'm really happy that you formed us, you're educating us. As much as we think we got education, there's other part of life that we missed along the way to where we are. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, do you think there's enough awareness in the community or community resources supporting the ADHD cause?
As far as I know, I would say no.
Okay.
The reason I say no is because I would have heard of it before I had a podcast.
Yes.
But just because I didn't hear of it and I'm keeping up with information,
Yes.
you know, daily information, whatever, national, local, whatever, I didn't hear of it.
Yes.
But because of you have heard of it, and since I've heard of it, I'm thinking, what other people are doing? And I'm still haven't heard anybody else doing similar thing. So either people are doing it behind the scene, and it's not public yet, but at least you're bringing it to the light, if you will.
Thank you very much, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out to the community, find out if people know it. If they don't, why not? How can we get people to understand what it is? So I truly appreciate your
Appreciate it, and if you need anything, I'm here to support you.
All right, thank you. I have another esteemed guest with us today, and I will have him introduce himself as usual, and we'll ask him about ADHD. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
My name is Daniel Ajagba.
Okay.
Been in Rochester for close to 40 years now. ADHD is a subject that nobody, we just hear about it, but nobody knows exactly what it is about. And coming out here today, I hope to learn.
Great, because that's the reason why we are here. You know, we want to make sure the community is aware of what it is, so that with awareness, a lot of support for the kids, you know. So have you seen or met somebody who, you know, describe their symptom or says they have ADHD?
I will tell you that my grand in England has ADHD real bad.
Okay.
He cannot sit still for 2 seconds. But they did not diagnose him as that. I was trying to explain ADHD to his mother when I went to England, but she couldn't. And she's a social worker too.
Yes. Thank you. What about community resources? Do you think there are enough resources in the community that really discusses or addresses ADHD from your experience?
I would say that ADHD as is a situation has not had enough exposure, publicity. You know, the community has not been educated enough about it.
Okay.
So for somebody like me who is not in that realm, I don't have a child that has ADHD, and most of my friends don't have it. I am not close enough to it to really understand it, to even form an opinion.
Thank you. Well, right now, our podcast is there. We are in YouTube Live, where we have resources and we bring in experts to talk about it. So you can sit in your couch and just watch and listen. And you have questions or comments you can put in and just join our community. Let's try and educate the larger community.
In fact, the link that you sent to me, I listened to it, and there was some eye-opening, I want to use the word expose that, woke me up about some of these issues. And I think I can only delve more into it by going into the podcast on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Dr. Thomas Green, welcome.
Hello.
Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born and raised in Rochester, a graduate of the Rochester City School District, and currently working in the city in community health. I had the privilege of graduating from the St. John Fisher doctoral program with you.
Yes, thank you very much. And we're really grateful you're here. So what we are trying to do today, we're engaging the community to figure out what ADHD means to those in the community. So I'm going to ask you, have you ever heard the word ADHD? Do you know somebody who has it? Have you ever been linked to that disorder at all?
So I haven't been linked to it directly. I know people who have been said to have ADHD. My wife has worked in the school district and with special ed, so I'm somewhat familiar with the term, but I do know that there are things such as ADHD that sometimes we don't get diagnosed with so that we can find out what the cure for us is or why these certain things are affecting us. So I think it's great that people like you are making sure that our community is aware and not scared of being diagnosed, knowing that if you can understand why you or your children may be reacting in a different way, that once you understand why, then you can find a solution for it.
Yes, thank you very much. And that's the reason why we are here, trying to break down, unravel the complexities of ADHD. So can you tell us, from your experience in the community, do you know of resources that are available specifically supporting students with ADHD?
I don't know of specific resources. I'm encouraged by knowing the work that you have done and what you've talked about. I'm encouraged by knowing that the city school district, has given some voice to it. And so I think by knowing that, that people are going to become more educated and then be able to find solutions.
We really appreciate your presence, and we will want you to spread the word. We are on YouTube Live, where we're bringing experts from different fields, people that are working with students, especially in the urban schools, to talk about ADHD in languages that our parents will understand, educators will understand, and policymakers too. So spread the word, and thank you, sir. We appreciate
I will definitely spread the word, and congratulations to you on your podcast, and continue the work that you're doing that is much needed in this community.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to Unstitching ADHD Urban Ed Talks. And today we have come to the conclusion of our activities at the Westside Farmers Market, St. Monica's parking lot. You can see the market is over and we are all packing up and everybody is going right now. We have been able to engage with the community, to talk to people, and they have shared their different perspectives of what they think ADHD is and if there are resources in the community to support kids. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll plead with you to subscribe and share this amongst your friends. And let's demystify the complexities of ADHD. Thank you for tuning in and have a blessed evening. I am Dr. Stanley Ekiyor, your host.